Hey guys, welcome to my birthday haul video. My favorite way to spend money on my birthday and my favorite gift to receive is usually books. So I have a few books to share with you. I have been gifted some, I thrifted some, and then I just used some of my birthday money to buy some. So without further ado, let's get into them. Although the first one is actually a Mother's Day gift. I mentioned this in my June TBR. I got A Philosophy of Education by Charlotte Mason, the annotated edition for Mother's Day. I requested this. I said, if you want to get me something, this is a book I would like. And it is all about homeschooling, I think the older years, like from 9 up or from 10 up. I haven't started it yet, but I hope to really soon. Charlotte Mason was, let's see, she wrote her 6 volumes of this series from 1885 to 1921. Oh, that's actually later than I thought. Anyway, I'm currently reading volume 1, and then once I'm done that, I want to read this one. Very different vein than normal. Now we will go into all the books that I was gifted for my birthday. So I mentioned this, I already talked about this book a little bit in the mid-year freakout tag, but Charlene from, what's her channel name? Coffee and a Book, I think. I'll leave it linked below. She sent me 2 books for my birthday, one of which was Tress of the Emerald Sea. Did I know that it's actually Tress of the Emerald Sea? I always think it's Tress and the Emerald Sea. How have I been saying it? Well, anyway, I loved this book last year when I read it. This was Sanderson's first of his secret projects to be released. And I think the end papers are gorgeous and this illustration is gorgeous. So love it all around. Thank you again, Charlene. Tress is a fantasy science fiction story that Sanderson wrote after watching The Princess Bride with his wife, and she said, what if, oh, how was it? Because in Princess Bride, this guy, I don't remember the Princess Bride story. I think I've blocked it from my memory. I'm one of the few people that doesn't like the book or the movie. But anyway, in this one, what happens is Tress's kind of like love interest goes off somewhere and he doesn't return on some kind of voyage. And so she goes out to look for him. And I think that's what Sanderson's wife had said. What if the woman went and looked for him? And so this is a world where the seas are made up of spores. And I imagine them to be like little round, like bubble tea bubbles. I don't know if that's right. I really enjoyed the story. It is set in Sanderson's Cosmere, and there is some like kind of aha moments if you have read some of the other books in the Cosmere, but I think you can read it without having read those and then make those connections later. It's a really good book. Charlene also sent me The Secret Diaries of Charlotte Bronte. This is a novel by the author of The Lost Memoirs of Jane Austen. So it's by Siri James? Siri? I don't know. I know that Charlene read this earlier in the year, sometime in the winter, I think. And she's been going through a bit of a Bronte kick, I'll say. And I enjoy the Brontes, even though I don't always like their books or like what their books are about, but I've enjoyed a lot of their writing. So I'm very curious about this. I don't know how much of this is true. Like, it's a novel, but is it based off of actual diary entries? That I don't know, but I'll see as I go. It's not only online friends that know I like to read, it's my in-person friends as well. And my friend Danae got me What God Has to Say About Our Bodies by Sam Albury. So I saw him talk back when we were in Texas in April. This is a Christian nonfiction book, How the Gospel is Good News for Our Physical Selves. I haven't read it yet, so I don't really know much about it, but his talk, actually I watched 2 of his talks when we were in Texas at the Acts 29 conference, and they were both really good, and I wanted to read more of his writing, so I'm going to do that with this. He has taken over which church? Emmanuel, Nashville. I think that's the church that Ray Ortland used to preach at, and I think Ray has like retired, semi-retired, and then Sam has taken over, something like that. My friend Kim gave me The World of Jeeves by P.G. Woodhouse. Kim has like a homemaking channel here on YouTube. I'll leave her linked below as well, and she has really enjoyed the P.G. Woodhouse and Jeeves world. and she said I need to read this slowly. I think they're like short stories. Complete treasury of P.G. Woodhouse's short stories featuring Jeeves, the perfect butler, and his scatterbrained employer, Bertie Wooster. So it was, I don't really know anything about Jeeves, and this doesn't really say much, but I always thought that this was like a mystery series with Jeeves, and I don't think it is. There are, wow, there's 34 short stories here. So probably see this on a TBR sometime soon. And she also got me these magnetic bookmarks that look really cool. I love the floral. I'm such a sucker for floral things. And then Holly from Lovely Day with Holly got me the complete Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. This is a hefty book. I love the end papers are like a marbled color. And so yeah, this has all of his books with Sherlock Holmes. So A Study in Scarlet, The Sign of the Four, The Adventures of Sherlock, The Memoirs, The Count of Baskervilles, The Return of Sherlock, The Valley of Fear, His Last Bow, The Casebook of Sherlock Holmes. Oh, the Casebook. I feel like I haven't read that one. Can that be true? I thought I had read all of his. Now I'm gonna have to go to the end here and see if I've read these last few. So, thank you, Holly. It's a hefty book. Then my 11-year-old was very sad that he didn't buy me something for my birthday. We moved on my birthday, so it was like a bit of a gong show of a day. And I said, how about we go to the thrift store? And that'll like be my birthday present, just going to the thrift store. And I found a couple books while we were there. I did a short sharing a little bit of our time at the thrift store. So I found The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. This is a book that's on my like classics TBR for in the future. Not quite there yet, but I'm collecting it. And I have The Three Musketeers by him as well. And this is an illustrated edition. The illustration style is quite, well, like, what is that even? I think like it's a little over the top in some regards. Let's see if I can find a weird one. It is not an abridged story, and I actually feel like the font is decently large for the book. Like, what we got going on here? Like, it's not my kind of illustrations, even the cover, but it's unique. I'll take it. Then I found a Christian Manifesto by Francis A. Schaeffer, and I have heard his name before. I've never read anything by him. This is a Christian nonfiction book, but recently I read, what's the book called? I just shared it in my May wrap-up. Totally blanking on the title. I'll put up a picture. And I realized partway through that book, like halfway through that book, that was written by his daughter. So that was kind of a cool connection. And so I thought I would try this. A Christian Manifesto is literally a call for Christians to change the course of history by returning to biblical truth and by allowing Christ to be Lord in all of life. To do this, Schaeffer says, will involve a head-on confrontation with a false view that material or energy shaped by chance is the final reality. I have no idea. Very curious. And then I found Ellis Peters' The Brother Cadfael Mysteries. I don't know if that's how you say it. Cadfael. This has the morbid taste for bones, The Raven in the Foregate, and The Rose Rent. I don't know what numbers these are, but Ellis Peters, which I don't think I realized until I got this book, was actually, her name is Edith. So I had no idea that Ellis Peters was a female. And these are his mystery stories with a sleuthing medieval monk. I do have one of the stories in this series on my shelf, my TBR shelf, but I don't know if it's one of these. But this was, I think, $1, maybe $2 for 3 stories. So I grabbed it. I need to start reading these soon. And then, so my parents and my brother and sister-in-law gave me some money for my birthday. And I went to my Amazon list, my wish list, and picked out some books that I'm really excited about. So here's what I got. First of all, I got Heart of Red, Blood of Blue, which I've already read, so this is by Rebecca Belliston. I shared about this in my last video, but I hadn't finished it yet. And I will say, I gave it 5 stars. So the only thing is, after I finished it, I texted Holly and I was like, okay, I just read this book. I know she gave it 5 stars. Is it fantasy? And really the only fantasy portion is that it's like in this different world. But it reads kind of like a fantasy story without any like magical or fantastical elements. So our main character is Gisela. She is an albino and she's a princess. Her father has kept her in hiding for the last 10 years because on the day that she was 7, she was betrothed to this prince, and there was like a war pretty much broke out right then, and the prince was killed and the prince's father was killed, and then the countries have been at war, and there is this man named, they call Bloodless, Kristoff, and he's out to hunt down all of the royal children. I really enjoyed it. Definitely recommend it. The other ones I haven't read yet. So I got The Testimony of Bendigo Fletcher by Kira F. Jacobs. I came across this one on Instagram and it sounded really interesting to me. And then of course by now I totally forget what it is. Bendigo Fletcher is destined to end up in the family herb business, bound to his treehouse village of Whimsulton until death. In the world of Tarsha, death is the true end for all things, an eternal black void. It's been this way since the Twilights. An army of dark spirits invaded Tarsha and stole the afterlife from the people 400 years ago. When the sacred book of prophecy, written in, I'm gonna have to figure out how to say this, Whimsulin, for centuries, opens, it reveals that Bendigo must leave his village to find a man named Dagon, who has the power to reclaim the afterlife. Desperate for the hope of life after death, Bendigo accepts the quest, taking his best friend Willie, the girl whom Whimsulin detests, with him. I'm gonna have to figure out how to say that word properly. It sounded interesting to me, so I grabbed it. Plus it was quite a bit on sale. It was $7 or $8 Canadian, which is super cheap. Every other book is at least like $20. Then I decided to get one of Victoria McComb's books. So this one is The Storyteller's Daughter. This is one of her fairy tale retellings. So this is like one of her earlier books. His shadowed face lit by flames, Rumpelstiltskin is my name. For as long as anyone can remember, every child in Westfalen has been born with a gift, and these gifts define them. Then Cosette is born, giftless. I loved Mortal Queens. I enjoyed Oathbound, but I haven't continued with that series yet by Victoria McCombs, and so I wanted to give this a try. I think, I can't remember, I think she has a few of these, and she might have another series too that she wrote a while ago. This one was written when? Oh, 2021, so not that long ago. Thought it would have been longer ago. Looking forward to reading that. And then I bought a Kate Stradling book, The Heir and the Spare. Now, I really enjoyed her book, The Legendary Inga, and I would like to own that one day, but I find the cover really ugly. So I thought I would buy one that I haven't read yet. But that one I gave 5 stars, and then I've read one of her other books, and I think I gave it 4 or 5 stars. This is An Evil Princess, a Ruthless Persecutor, a Wretched Match. Tormented at home and bullied during her studies abroad, second-born Iona of Wesset hides in the quiet corners of her father's castle. Her art and music provide a refuge, but her cruel sister, Lizen, ever lurks like a monster stalking its prey. Such has been her life for 20 years. However, a promise of reprieve and retribution arrives when the neighboring kingdom proposes an alliance between their new crown prince and Wessett's heir to the throne. I don't know. I've enjoyed her writing, so I'm very excited. And that was in ebook form, which usually brings it down for me. Now I'm excited to try her writing in physical form and see what I think of it. So that's my birthday book haul. I'm really excited about all the books. You're gonna see them a lot of them reappearing real soon again as I get my TBR cart ready and decide on my like summer TBR that might be coming up next. We'll see. Let me know if you've read any of these books that I got for my birthday, if you've enjoyed any of them, any I should prioritize. I'm always curious to hear your guys' thoughts.